More in-state reactions today as new allegations unfold against Democratic U.S. Senate candidate Graham Platner. A New York Times article details accounts from some of his former girlfriends who, according to the paper, describe his behavior at times as intimidating and disturbing. News CENTER Maine's Alex Haskell live in our studio tonight with the details. Hi, Alex.
Hey, Brian. So we contacted many of Platner's endorsers today, along with all of the Democratic candidates for governor. We only heard back from a few, but most of those who responded say they continue to support Platner's campaign.
We're not surprised that attacks are coming from various corners.
Cynthia Finney is the president of the Maine AFL-CIO, a federation representing hundreds of local labor unions. She says she stands by her endorsement of Democratic Senate candidate Graham Platner, whom she describes as someone
who our experience with shows is able to learn and grow, as we think all people are.
The federation's continued support comes as Platner faces new allegations laid out Thursday in a New York Times article. It says 3 of Platner's ex-girlfriends found his behavior occasionally intimidating and disturbing. The most critical account came from a woman named Lindsay Fifield, who says she dated Platner from 2013 to 2015. She told the Times Platner had frequently grabbed her by the shoulders, sometimes hard enough to leave marks, once yanked her out of a taxi by her wrist, and another time twisted her arm behind her back. Platner addressed the claims on MS Now.
Anything alleging physicality, anything alleging that I knew what my tattoo was, these are the statements of someone who's politically motivated.
The article is just the most recent controversy among many that have followed Platner. Last October, Platner's controversial Reddit post resurfaced. That same month, Platner revealed he had a tattoo widely recognized as a Nazi symbol. This March, more controversial Reddit posts surfaced. In May, cheating allegations were made against Platner. Now this article by the New York Times.
I have read the article.
Dr. Nirav Shah, who is a Democrat running for governor, has previously endorsed Platner. But at a campaign stop Friday, Shah stopped short of expressing continued support for him.
I want to make sure I have a chance to speak with Graham about it before I comment any further.
Meanwhile, the Working Families Party, which has also endorsed Platner, is speaking strongly in support of him, saying in part, Graham has been candid about his past struggles and shortcomings, as well as his work to be and do better. We think he's the working-class fighter Mainers need in the Senate.
I believe that Graham Platner has a lot of questions to answer.
Republican U.S. Senator Susan Collins, who Platner is hoping to replace in D.C., also reacting to the latest scandal.
The allegations in the latest story are troubling.
So Platner has publicly addressed each of the controversies. He apologized for past Reddit posts and for a tattoo he says he did not know was associated with a Nazi symbol. He later had that tattoo altered. Platner has also pushed back on claims about his marriage, saying he and his wife have a strong relationship and have worked through challenges in counseling. He has been open about struggling with PTSD after his 4th combat deployment and says he's changed for the better. Live in studio, Alex Haskell, News CENTER Maine.
Alex, thank you. Now, Lindsay Fifield, one of the women featured in that Times article, is sharing why she decided to share her experience dating Platner. In a lengthy post on X, she calls Platner a, quote, narcissistic abuser. She claims he had been attacking her character behind the scenes after attention surrounding that controversial tattoo emerged last October. She goes on to say she feels she did the right thing in speaking out about her experience and that by staying silent, she was telling a lie. Senator Susan Collins, who could face Platner as she seeks re-election in November, speaking about the recently passed bill to fund ICE. Collins joined her fellow Senate Republicans, voting in favor of President Trump's $70 billion immigration enforcement agenda. A lengthy debate over a proposed anti-weaponization fund did threaten to derail the bill for a while. Speaking in Newry today, Senator Collins explained her vote, mentioning the amendments she helped to get passed earlier this year.
There were reforms that I put into the bill and negotiated with my Democratic counterparts that include, for example, a requirement for body-worn cameras for ICE officials and Border Patrol.
The senator goes on to say those body cameras also help protect those law enforcement officers. The city of South Portland continuing its discussions on the use of flock cameras. Right now, the city council is debating if it wants to allow the police department to continue a contract with the maker of those cameras, which can help identify vehicles. Members of the public have shared privacy concerns. At a workshop, counselors will work to figure out if they want to include funding for flock cameras in the upcoming budget.